Hello everyone, it's your morning drive with Adam. It's good to see you today. Hope you guys are having a good day. We're going to continue our discussion on, I just lost it, healthy friendships, there we go. Continue talking about healthy friendships by looking at 1 Samuel 18 today. So yesterday we kind of talked about the concept of just friendship in general, but more about like what does it look like, and specifically with Jonathan and David, and how by giving your, like the symbolism behind giving your outer robe to them and how you want to make them feel comfortable and stuff around you. So now today we're going to be looking a little bit deeper into that passage as well. So if you look, it says that he gave him his outer robe, but then he gave him his tunic, his belt, his bow, his sword, and his belt as well. So we're going to unpack each one of those. Today we're going to look at the tunic aspect of it. And so like symbolically, last time we talked about how the outer robe symbolized just being comfortable with someone, being able to have them be comfortable around you, and give them the being the person where they can be open and comfortable around you. Well, the next layer then is going a little bit deeper. He actually gives him his tunic, and the tunic would be like his clothes, like his actual nicer part of his clothes, not necessarily his undergarments per se, but just like giving him his clothes himself. And so like the idea there is just going even deeper. So the symbolism behind that is, while your outer cloak represents just being comfortable around your friends, that you can hang out with them, the tunic represents a much more personal, much more intimate level, that you're at the point of the friendship that you're starting to share personal information with them, that you're starting to share things about them that you may not be able to share with anyone else. And so obviously that part of friendship is, trustworthiness is there, of course, but this is like starting to get to the point of vulnerability. And I think that's really where the tunic represents, is not just comfort, but and because with comfort there comes a bit of vulnerability, but this is like true vulnerability. Like you are willing to show yourself to the individual. Like you're willing to show who you really are, that you're not trying to put on any kind of facade whatsoever. You're not trying to impress them. You understand, and I guess this is really, if I talk about the tunic is part of understanding. You're understanding the person, and you're allowing the person to be who they are, and you're not going to, you're letting them understand you're not going to judge them for who they are. Let me put it that way. And so as a good friend, when someone's starting to do something, like necessarily that you may not like, you can be honest with them and tell them, but at the same time, you're not going to hold it against them or hold a grudge against them. You're going to be like, okay, well, they did it. I will let them know that. But it's not, you also start to acknowledge and let that person be that person. And so I think it's best to be kind of explained in terms of real life examples. So I'm going to use my personal friends because those are the ones that I know the most. And I also talk about this all the time with other people, and they know that I'm not trying to, call them out or make fun of them or anything like that. And so in my friend dynamic, and you'll probably hear about them, I have John, I have Corey, who are my closest friends. But with John is very good at like coming up with ideas, but he's not very good at completing that idea. So he comes up with a bunch of new ones, but he doesn't actually run them to completion. And that can be frustrating. Like it can be, especially when you're trying to come up with something, especially when you're talking to him for the first time about something. He'll come up with all of these ideas about like, oh, what about this? What about this? What about this? And if you are the kind of person who's like, okay, let's run with that idea, John's not really gonna run with it. He might run with it for a little bit, but he has no like investment in it. If you're one of those people who's like, hey, let's go ahead and do this thing, he's like, why? He's like, it was just an idea, and he's not really sold on any one of those ideas. He just generates them. John is also very good at sharing with you information that he is very passionate about, and you have to like experience it right at that moment. He's one of those people that will like sit down, grab his phone, pull up a video, stop what you're doing, put the phone in your face and say, watch this, and then he'll sit there and watch you while you watch the video to get your reaction on it. So again, I don't think any of that stuff is necessarily bad, because I've come over the years to just be comfortable around John and allow him to do that and be okay with that, because I've let John be John. But if you don't, and this is, I guess, one of those areas where in a friendship you start to figure out what works with you and what doesn't work. And as you figure out who you are, and this is why it's very important that we talk about you have to love yourself before you can love others. If you don't know what you want and you don't know what you like, it's going to be very difficult for you to be able to, I guess, be friends with that person, because you don't know what to expect with them. You don't know what you don't know what's really going to frustrate you, I guess, in the moment. And part of being friends is you're going to figure that out along the way, of course. I'm not saying you have to have it all figured out before you have a friend. But if you're being inconsistent with it, like you don't really know if you like it or don't like it, then it could make it kind of hard sometimes to be a good friend. But you start to figure that out as you're getting to know people. And you're like, you know what, I really don't like that. And the good news is you can choose wise friends that way. But also, to have wise friends, you need to be a wise friend yourself. And so part of the tunic is representing allowing that person to be who they are, and allowing yourself, opening yourself up to be comfortable and be yourself around that individual. Whenever this is one of those, like, for example, if we use the analogy yesterday of the tunic representing, a guy at a party, taking off his outer or his suit and loosening his tie and just kind of relaxing in somebody's presence. The tunic would be more like, well, maybe this might be a little, graphic, but like whenever you go over to someone's house and they like unbutton their pants and they're just kind of like, they just kind of let things off, take their belt off or whatever, and they're just kind of like, okay, we're in my domain now, we're really relaxed, or maybe they like just take their shirt off and they've got like the undershirt on underneath it, and they're just like, okay, now I can really relax. And that's what this idea is. Whenever Jonathan took off his tunics and gave his tunic to David, he was symbolically saying that I am completely at ease around you, that I can be myself completely around you. And that's the kind of friend that we want to be to other people and we want to have around us. So if you can't be that around your friends, if you can't really be your true self around your friends, then you need to ask yourself if those friends are people who you really need to have around. And if you're not one where you can, if you're not accepting other people of who they are, then I don't know, you need to really evaluate what kind of friend you are today. So your challenge today is to take one of your friends, just one of your friends, and just go through that analysis. Start to look at whether or not you're being a good friend to them, and are you comfortable around them? Like, what about that friend makes you comfortable around them? Start listing their characteristics too, and maybe that'll even give you a reflection on some stuff that you have about you. Maybe even ask your friend today. Go to them and say, hey, what are some things about me that you like about me? Try that out today. Go actually have a discussion with your friends about this and go deeper. Because if you're a good friend, you can have this kind of discussion and it's not going to be awkward or weird. You can just be like, hey, what do you like about me? And just generally ask them. So we're going to pray and I'll send you guys on your way. God, we just thank you so much for today. I thank you for the friends that you have put in our lives. God, I just thank you for the ability to be in relationship, how you have designed us to be that community-driven person, that we're not alone and we don't have to feel alone, that in this world where we are seemingly overly connected but not actually close or intimate, I pray that we can truly find some people in our lives that we can be completely ourselves around. And pray, God, I pray that if this person, the people watching this don't have that kind of friendship, God, that you will help them find that person. And let it start with us. Let us to be the good friends that we need for other people. So God, we just thank you today. We lift you up. I praise you for just the beauty of your creation, the beauty of your world, and I just want to praise you today. Pray these things in your name. Amen. All right, guys, love you. I will see you tomorrow, and have a great day.